Hey there everyone, happy Saturday. I am King 5 meteorologist Adam Claybon. It's finally upon us, the start of the Seahawks season, and it's going to be here in Seattle. Big matchup tomorrow. Hopefully the Seahawks can win against their divisional foe, the 49ers. And we're going to talk about that forecast coming up here in a second. But most of tomorrow is going to be really a continuation of what we had today. A little less of that smoke haze across the skies, better air quality, as well as maybe some showers around. Not going to see anything too widespread, but you could see a downpour or two kind of here or there, and more of that to come as we head on into next work week as well. But let's talk about tomorrow first. 49ers and Seahawks, as we headed out towards Lumen Field, they'll be starting up at 1:05 tomorrow afternoon. And around and before kickoff is when we have the best chances of seeing some of that rain across the area. As we go deeper into the game, around halftime and into the latter part of the game, we're expecting generally cloudy skies and more dry times than not, as temperatures will be around that 70-degree mark. So make sure to get out there and cheer really loud. All right, so yes, tomorrow we're expecting to have less of that smoke haze across the skies, and there could be some of those showers still in place for us. An isolated storm probably during the morning. I think those chances by the afternoon are pretty much gone and done for us, and we'll continue to dry out into more of tomorrow night. And I think most of the day on Monday is fairly dry too, but Tuesday we'll see more of that showery type of weather come back into place for us, and that's something that will start off at least into the work week while we start to see conditions moisten up a little more into our atmosphere. And when that happens, this red flag warning that we have in effect, and this is only until late tonight at 3 a.m., that will actually help with those conditions. And what's happening right now is that we're seeing a bit more of that westerly wind coming up and over the Cascades. And when you get that downsloping wind on the eastern slopes, it's going to be a drying wind, and that means that the conditions there are for fires to develop and to develop more rapidly, especially with some thunderstorm activity coming through the region. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully things are not too bad, and when we wake up tomorrow morning, we won't see too many, if any, additional fires ahead, and we'll get more beneficial rainfall from some of those storms. All right, a look at the forecast. Next 7-day stretch for us, not a huge change really, more upper 60s and lower 70s. Some of those showers around again tomorrow, a generally dry day on Monday, and then the highest chances of rain coming through heading into the day on Tuesday before we do dry out and see more of a warming trend, but just a slight one heading into the end of next week with highs back in the mid-70s. Here's a look at Port Angeles. Things quiet, a few raindrops showing up on the camera lens, but you can see the skies. They're not quite as hazy with that smoke right now. There or either here at Bellingham as we head on into the latter part of our Saturday night right now. Everett, same for us too, as conditions are looking fairly nice. We're getting that cooler air to settle on in. Now, here we are looking in Seattle. You can definitely tell there are a decent amount of clouds around, less of that smoke haze, and we're still sitting in the mid-60s here, getting closer to about the 10 p.m. hour. Light winds, those are only coming in at about 3 miles per hour. Expect temperatures tonight to drop a few more degrees. We'll get back into more of the upper 50s to low 60s. We'll have a few of those showers around. Check out that flash of lightning right there. Kind of exciting, right? Then we'll be noticing things actually improving as we head on into more of your afternoon as far as drier conditions. Now, the cooler air is settling in, and this is going to be a theme again as we head on into the day for tomorrow. That cooler air settles in, cools us down near that 70-degree mark, but we're only down by about 4 to maybe 5 degrees here across the area. So there's not a drastic change in our temperatures, but the air mass is going to continue to stay on the cooler side heading into the day tomorrow. And as far as our current numbers, more low to mid 60s across most of our locations, with 50s out towards the north and west over more of Clallam County. Down there around the State Fair there in Puyallup, we're still up near the 60-degree mark, the 70-degree mark, as we're sitting at 68 degrees. And with a little more of that westerly flow, well, that has helped our air quality, and that has improved tremendously. Seeing a lot of yellow still popping up on there, and that was something that we kind of saw yesterday, but still within some of those localized areas, you could notice some poor air quality. But with more of this westerly wind coming in, that is helping to clean things out a bit. But if you're around more of King County, Snohomish County, or up near more of the Canadian border, you might notice a bit more of that poor air quality, or either if you're farther east across the state, if you're heading over there, we still have those low air quality and that poor air quality that will be in place over there. So you're going to want to be careful if you are definitely a bit more sensitive when it comes to that. All right, so here's a look at radar, and I just showed you how things are beginning to pick up a little bit here across areas of King and also Pierce counties. What's happening? Well, we have this line of showers generally, but a few storms that are beginning to make their way up from the south. And as we zoom into that, you can definitely tell that we have some of that energy moving over parts of Pierce County up into more of the Kitsap Peninsula, seeing that line extend all the way over towards Grays Harbor County and out towards the coast. And we're losing some of the instability there and some of the lightning strikes because, well, we're also noticing a loss of the heat. And the heat also helps to generate more of that instability. So as we lose the daytime heating, we also lose a lot of times some of the instability to help to create some of those thunderstorms. And then off to the south and east, you get a little more lift as that storm makes its way up and over the mountains. That helps to increase some of the instability. That's why you have more lightning strikes down this way around areas closer to the Cascades. And that will be one of those areas, again, that we keep an eye out for, maybe additional fires to start. With some of the rain maybe coming down with this, though, that might help to maybe keep those chances on the low as far as any additional fires coming from it, and hopefully producing a lot of heavy rain to go along with this as this moves northward. But that will move its way over the Cascades eventually and find its way here closer to areas around more of King County later tonight, probably closer to about midnight or heading on into just after midnight. So keep an eye and an ear out for that here as you try to get to sleep tonight. All right, big picture is we're going to see that continue to move off to the north. We got this area of low pressure that's out over more of the Pacific. That will help to generate more shower activity as we go into the start of next work week, primarily heading into the day on Tuesday. And as that moves on through, that will help to bring in a bit more of that rain. Let's talk futurecast, and you can see that area of showers and storms, that cluster, it does break down, and we don't see as much of the vivid reds and the oranges popping up with it as we do farther south as it moves up and over the mountains. But it is still could potentially produce a few lightning strikes here and there as it moves over more of other areas of Pierce County and heading into the Kitsap Peninsula, King County, even eventually up towards Snohomish County. Don't be surprised if we do see and hear a bit of that as we head on into the night. But that will help to reduce some of the showers across the region. That sticks around for us into the start of the day tomorrow. That's why the beginning of the day is looking like the better chance of seeing some rain out of this. And then we'll see that move on through. Again, the start of the time, the game time tomorrow is at 1:05. So that should be out and up to the north at that point away from Soto. And we should continue to see drying conditions into tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening. As we continue on into later tomorrow night and into the day on Monday, check it out. Generally just cloudy skies with a few showers around towards the tail end of the day. Those better chances coming up from the south, heading on into the day on Tuesday as that starts to work its way closer to us. Now, rainfall amounts with this aren't looking to be too impressive at all. You can see 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch. If you were caught under one of those showers or storms, especially if they're a bit heavier, you could see a bit more. That's why you see areas farther towards the south and to the east where we have a bit more lift and where we could see some of those thunderstorms like Paradise picking up 1 inch to maybe 1.5 inches of rain. That could be some pretty heavy rainfall, some beneficial rainfall too over some of those locations, just hopefully without as much of the lightning and the thunder. And let's go ahead and take a look at what we're expecting when it comes to some of the rainfall chances as we go later on into next week. So here it is. You can see that next system will continue to spin over the Pacific, and it throws up some moisture our way as we head on into more of the day on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, it starts to head off towards the south and to the east. We're still seeing some areas of showers as you head off towards the east across more of eastern Washington into eastern Oregon and heading into more of Idaho and Montana. But for us, I think we're drying out as we head on into that point. Moderate to heavier rain moving up into British Columbia, but for us, we'll be kind of stuck in between the two here, at least for a couple of days, heading into Thursday, more so Friday and Saturday, and heading on maybe even into Sunday too. We'll see how things shape up with that before things do pick up just a bit more as we go on into the start of the following work week. And looking at what it's going to do here as far as temperatures here over the next 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're talking about numbers generally around the low 70s and the upper 60s. We'll have those better rain chances on Tuesday. Wednesday, those beginning to head on out of here. And then as we head on into later next week, you'll see that dip in temperatures on Tuesday, but we are expecting to get back up into more of the mid-70s heading on into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with the normal high at 74. So that will be closer to those normals at that point, and a lot more lows in the 50s as we head on into next week as well, which the average is at 55, so we'll be closer to normal when it comes to that. Last couple of nights with all the clouds around, that has kept things a bit on the warmer side during the overnight hours, but still all in all, a lot more comfortable than what we were just dealing with about a week ago. So we got that high heat out of here at least. So here's your forecast. As we head on into the night, we're going to drop down into the upper 50s and just a few low 60s out there. Lower 50s as you head out and over more the Olympic Peninsula and parts of Northwest Interior. And then highs tomorrow, getting up to 65 in Orcas Island, 68 in Mount Vernon, Blaine up to 65 degrees. We'll hit the 68-degree mark around Arlington, or mid-60s, getting closer to Coopeville. Linwood up to 69, low 70s around Paul's Bowl. Seattle, Renton up to 72. Auburn hitting 72 degrees. We'll be around the low to mid-70s around Tacoma, Olympia, and and in Yelm, with areas farther south through the Chehalis Valley in the low 70s, off towards the west, 60s out towards the south coast, and all the way up here towards more the central and north coast, with areas closer to Quilcene and up around more Port Townsend, hovering around the 70 to maybe the lower 60-degree mark, with 61 in Lake Crescent and 63 in Port Angeles. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. We'll see those temperatures in the upper 60s to low 70s over the next few days. Kind of a cooler day on Tuesday, and then our numbers bounce back up with a little more sunshine ahead, with some areas of clouds and fog during the morning next Thursday, Friday, and heading on into Saturday. But the forecast tomorrow, if you are heading out to Lumen Field, looking to be pretty nice for you. Bring the rain gear in case you need it, but I think most of us will get away with not needing it at all. Okay, everyone, well, enjoy the game again, and enjoy if you're watching at home, and just enjoy your Sunday in general as we head on into the end of the weekend. We'll talk to you soon.